Gotcha! I can't believe my lawyer's trying to defend me in such a state! Why didn't you tell me, sir? I'm sorry I didn't mention it to you. Oh, I know what to do! I heard you can fix something like this with a really strong shock to your system. Come on, lower your head a little. A Maggie cake should be all you need. No, I think I'll pass on this one. Come on! I'm sorry. Whenever I see someone in trouble, I have a hard time leaving them alone. I tend to stick my nose where it doesn't belong and try to tackle everyone's problems. Well, my head's one problem you won't be tackling today. Well, we're here to solve your problem first. We can deal with mine later. But for now, do you think you can fill me in on a few things? Of course! I'd be honored to. Well, I guess we'll start with my name and then I can tell you about myself. No, that's okay, really. I think I know you and your name pretty well by now. I was wondering if you could help me figure out a few things about myself. So, my name is Phoenix, right? What a weird name. Well, in the Japanese version, your name is Naruhodo Ryuichi. So, both names are pretty stupid. This is serious. You really don't remember. I'll tell you what, sir. You can have this back, and maybe it'll help. This is a business card? I got this from you. It's my most prized possession. You can borrow it for now, but please give it back, okay? Okay. There are some numbers written on the back. Oh, that's your cell phone number. Why is a cell phone number written on the back with his hand? Why doesn't it have it as an alternate telephone number on the front? I guess for now we should stop talking about me and start talking about this case. This case? You honestly forgot that you're on trial already? Yes, can you think of anything that would be helpful for me to know? What can I tell you? I can't think of anything other than the incident with a cell phone, but... Cell phone? Yes! Your eyes lit up when we talked about it at the detention center yesterday, sir. Hurry up then and tell me, this might be very important. Okay, Roger! It was on the day of the crime, just before 6 p.m. I picked up a lost cell phone while on a walk with Dustin. All of a sudden, the phone began to ring. Hello? Oh, thank you. I've been searching for my phone. Is this yours? I'm glad you called. We can meet up and I can give this back. I'll be right there. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name. You can call me Maggie. Don't worry, the voices change so you don't realize who it actually is. We agreed to meet up at 6 p.m. Dustin and I waited for the person to show up, but they never did. So, where's the phone you found now? I gave it to you yesterday. Huh? To me? Is that the phone in my pocket? You mean this one? Do you think it has anything to do with the murder? I don't really know, but if my eyes lit up... You were here all along! You're so mean! I called you a million times, but you wouldn't pick up! Can somebody remind me to point out a contradiction with that later on? But whatever. And when I went to check in the courtroom, everyone had already left! Ugh! Who the heck is this? Oh, let me guess. I'm supposed to know this girl, too. Hey! Good morning, Maggie! And a good morning to you too, Maya! So, how's it going? Is there a word for worse than abysmal? Well, there could be dreadful, catastrophic, or according to the Harry Potter universe, there isn't a word worse for describing something than troll. Oh? And what if I said that everything will be fine? That's right! It's Maya to the rescue with the ultra-decisive, super-important evidence! Here you are, Nick! The thing you wanted me to bring! Huh? Oh, thanks. What the heck is this, a list? It has about 20 people's names and phone numbers written on it. It was kind of tough, but I managed to find out some dirt. Looks like these guys are up to no good. No good? As in? Well, there's a group of con artists the police are currently investigating. I think these guys are members of that group. Why would a group of con artists pop up in a case like this? Don't look at me! And where did you get the list from in the first place? What? Why are you asking that? You're the one who asked me to look it up yesterday! Oh, is that right? These numbers were in the memory of that phone Maggie found. So that's where they're from. You're awfully forgetful these days, Nick. I hope I never get to be a forgetful old prune like you. Maya, actually, Mr. Wright is... Mr. Wright, recess is now over. Please bring the defendant and return to the courtroom immediately. Oops, guess you have to get going. We can talk about you being old later, Nick. Wish us luck! I guess I have all the pieces now. More or less. All that's left is to put it all together. I'm not gonna lose this. I can't! Come on, Nick! Better get a move on. Yeah.
The court will now reconvene. Please call your next witness to the stand, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. But before I do, if I may say a few words.
What is it, Mr. Payne?
It's about the next witness. He has a tendency to say things that rub people the wrong way, you see. So I asked that the court might be a little lenient on...
There is no need to give a preface. Just hurry up and call your witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The prosecution calls its next witness a drifter who was taking a walk in the park on the day of the murder. Please state your name for the court witness.
Before I do, I'd like to clarify a little something.
Huh? Oh, alright, go ahead.
Just now, you introduced my wonderful self to the court, correct? Perhaps as a drifter who was taking a walk?
Did I?
But I will not stand for that! Now you've tinted the court's eyes and colored me wrongly. Sure, I suppose calling me a university student would be not the absolute truth. Oh my god, shut up! You know, this guy's the love child of Red White and Wendy Oldbag. I swear, that's what he is. That's my canon. If you have a better theory, I'll listen to it, but otherwise, that is the love child of Red White and Wendy Oldbag. It explains his appearance and the ranting.
What is he, a human chatterbox?
Also, something I want to point out, since I started with Justice for All as my first Ace Attorney games, I had one misconception. Because Maggie was standing next to me in the beginning of the trial, and in the next case, Maya standing next to me, yes, she's once against the defendant, I thought it was always the defendant who was, you know, standing next to Phoenix in the defendant box. That's one misconception. Quite honestly, I would have preferred to have the defendants next to me instead of just Maya or the other assistant that we will be getting. Slight spoilers. Ugh, I have to question him? Fashion, cars, women, glasses, and of course university. First rates only need apply. Glasses? But you aren't wearing glasses. That's a hint, Phoenix. That's enough. Your name, witness. Oh, is that how you want to play this? Using your power and influence to keep the young people down? I see how you work now. You all people and your dirty tricks. You thought you had me, but you thought wrong. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Oh, man. I forgive you. Alright, I suppose I can tell you my name. I am Richard Wellington, the drifting virtuoso with a PhD in drifting, as it were. If you wanted to, you could call me a university student in transit.
Mr. Wellington, on the day of the murder, you were strolling through the park, correct?
It would appear that you are attached to that word. If you must, then by all means. But I remind you that I am in no way a prepubescent boy out on a walk with mommy. If you must know,
Anyway, please testify to court what you saw during your walk through the park.
See, you said it again, taking a walk. You know you...
What you witnessed will do, Mr. Wellington.
I was at the park all afternoon, deep in thought about my life situation. I don't remember the time all that well, but I do believe it was past 6 p.m. All of a sudden, a police officer falls from above right in front of my eyes. Without a thought, I looked up, and there I met the eyes of a charming young lady. Of course I remember her sweet face. It was that of the pretty defendant over there. The only other thing I saw was the banana that fell with the police officer.
That was certainly a decisive testimony.
Decisive? Nick, did you hear what he just said? Yeah, he called Maggie pretty and charming. What a liar! That's all you have to say. How can you be so calm? It's strange. My mind is very calm and clear. Maybe it's because I believe in my client. You mean Maggie? Yes, and if she really is innocent, then that can only mean one thing. That guy is lying.
You may now question the witness, Mr. Wright.
I'll find out the truth, no matter how well you craft your lies.
So you were at the park all afternoon? You seem to have a lot of free time.
That was very rude of you. But then again, what can I expect? That's what you get from a man who graduated from a no-name, trashy university. Back off, man. Phoenix went to the upstairs law department school from the medical hair and shampoo salon. That was a very good school. Now, this might be hard for a mush-headed, feeble-minded baboon like you, but I have to think very carefully about the future of our great country.
But I thought you said you were thinking about which college to go to just now.
Oh, please! Which university I go to will directly affect the very future of this country.
That arrogant little snot. How did you know what time it was? I see you're not wearing a watch, so...
Is that the best you can do? Do you think you can discredit me like that? You're just a third-rate biased fool. I guess I can't expect real smarts from you.
This arrogance is really intolerable. What do I do now? Answer the question. How did you know what time it was?
I can't believe I have to deal with a worm like you. You're just a shallow man who can only slam on desks and point at people for fun. I guess I don't have a choice. I'll try to explain this so that even a third-rate simpleton like you can understand. There was this little thing they call a clock at the park. Did you get that? Do you know what a clock is? It's a thing that tells you the time.
But I thought clocks tell you the time with voice like the thinker. As you can see, Mr. Wright, it's even this picture of the crime scene.
Quite frankly, I haven't been to a lot of parks, but I have 2 parks in sort of close vicinity to my home. Neither of them has a clock in it. Seriously, there are no clocks in parks.
Oh, so it is.
I looked at that clock and that's how I knew the time. But if you ask me, this whole concept of breaking the time is ba 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 ba. Shut up. Shut up, old bag!
And yet again, another flood of meaningless words. Talk about a first-class waste of time.
In any case, And how did you know he was a police officer? You obviously have no idea how powerful my deductive reasoning skills are. With one glance, I could tell just what sort of occupation he held. That shoddy, do-it-yourself hairstyle practice scream I'm a police officer. Oh, and I suppose it was also because he was wearing an officer's uniform. Shouldn't that statement have come first? Wow, that's pretty impressive. Hey, Nick! Do you think he'd figure out what I do? Even I haven't figured out that yet. Well, if I wouldn't, I'd ask cosplayer, or just person who likes to wear exotic clothes. Are you sure you got a good look at her face? Animals have this thing called an eye, Mr. Wright. Use this eye to see things. Most animals, technically mammals, have 2 eyes. So there's your contradiction. In this case of human, we have 2 of them. Yes, even you! I don't care if I have them or don't. Did you or did you not get a clear look at her face? That's what the witness was just about to get to. I would like to request that Mr. Wright not use such a loud voice during questioning.
Sustained. Mr. Wright, please refrain from raising your voice in this court.
Then please don't make me have to raise my voice. Are you finished? I'd like to continue if that's alright with you. So you're sure you're not mistaken? Please, don't confuse a pitiful train wreck of a life with mine. I'm what you call a famous brand name product, while you are only a cheap imitation. There is no way someone as magnificent as myself could have made a mistake. Of course, of course! Of course.
Did you not notice anything else of interest, witness?
Technically, this would be a bunch of bananas and not a single one. Mr. Wellington, I believe I have the bananas you saw right here. Ah, so you knew about the bananas too. Why didn't you say so earlier? But don't think you can use this as a way to pull more information out of me. And that's where you'd be wrong.
Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this?
Isn't that the baseball glove? What? A baseball glove? Doesn't it look delicious? Care for a bite? That's... no! Your Honor, I think this proves one very important fact. This witness... I'd like to say that he loves bananas, but no. By the way, just how bad are your eyes? Why are you asking me this all of a sudden? Your Honor, it is very simple to mistake a glove for a bunch of bananas.
No, I don't think so. Objection overruled.
You're one of those people, yes, you know what I mean. You're like those people who refuse to accept Galileo for his theory. You're too... I do want to shove him off the witness stand. They're both 2025. I suppose you're going to tell me that's terrible, right? Quite frankly, I don't know what that means. Maybe the calculation is different, but one of my eyes is minus 4.25 dioptrine. That's like really bad on one eye. The other one is, I don't know, I think a little less than that.
Why are you not wearing your glasses today then?
That's because I lost them recently, you see. Of course, I was planning on getting a new pair made right away. But you know my glasses are no ordinary glasses, so to replace them... How about when you witnessed a crime? Were you wearing the glasses then? How about it, witness?
You are an unrelenting evil man. You're like those people who rejected Joan of Arc and put her to death. She was brave and courageous only to be caught by your people.
Which boils down to you were not wearing your glasses at that time. Therefore, the identity of the woman at the scene of the crime and that of the defendant cannot be proven to be the same by this witness.
But the height difference was only 9 feet!
Dude, if I don't wear my glasses, I can barely recognize somebody from a meter away. The face would still be very blurry for me. I might recognize them by other factors, but if they're a stranger, I couldn't tell you the difference.
It was very possible for him to see the face of the culprit standing on the upper path.
Witness, please be more accurate in your testimony. Remember, a person's life is at stake.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, please continue with your testimony.
Please tell the court what happened next in the moments after you witnessed the crime. After that, I immediately called the police station to report the crime. It must have been 6:45 p.m. when I made that call. They must have a lot of free time on their hands since they showed up within 10 minutes.
Hey, policemen having a lot of free time? That's actually good.
Yes, that is correct. Which is why even someone without a superior brain like mine can understand that
that girl is the murderer.
You may question a witness now, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wellington, would you please take a look at this?
You mean the victim's autopsy report?
I wasn't talking to you, Mr. Judge. According to this, the murder occurred at 6:28 p.m.
So what of it?
You said that you called the police immediately after the murder took place. However, by that time you had called the police, it was already 6:45 p.m. There is clearly a 50-minute gap there. Do you deny it? I think this court would like to hear what you were doing during this 15-minute gap.
The witness was in shock at the time after witnessing a terrible murder. It's only to be expected that he would be a little dazed.
I think I will make a running gag out of it that whenever somebody's dazed, they are going to pick up a gun. Blame Edgeworth for that. Also, I want to point something out. During shock situations, it is very possible to be dazed and stop your actions for a second, but afterwards your brain goes into overdrive. I had a fire in the kitchen. I noticed the fire, I ran into the living room, said shit, and then proceeded to put the fire out. I can't tell you how long it took, but I was definitely barely 30 seconds away from that fire, and then I started to do something. So, 15 minutes, bullshit.
Mr. Wellington.
Yes?
Explain yourself. What were you doing during those 15 minutes?
Answer the question.
Telephone, I mean...
Spit it out.
I was searching for a phone booth!
A phone booth? Yeah, what the hell are those things?
You mean you don't have a cell phone?
You and your questions, as if you're trying to open all the layers of a Matryoshka doll. You must think you're really something special. Witness. I lost my cell phone. There. Are you happy?
You lost it?
Unbelievable, you lose your glasses and your cell phone. Next thing you know, you're gonna lose your head if it wasn't so screwed on. You must be very scatterbrained when it comes to your belongings.
Are you saying that a first-rate person are never allowed to lose things? Haven't you ever heard that all geniuses have a strange little... stupid lag makes it a little difficult to read everything by the time it switches around. Really, it jumps at times. Oh man, oh man. Wait. He lost his cell phone? Nick, that cell phone! Could it be... You mean the cell phone Maggie found? There's no way. Boy, I didn't see this coming. What should I do now? Mr. Wellington, where is your cell phone right now? What are you getting all excited about? You seem to be a little confused. I found my phone, I'll have you know. Here it is. Oh, I see. Looks like he's got his phone. And I thought that just maybe this was his.
Well then, I think we've cleared this issue up. At the time of the murder, the witness did not have a cell phone because he had lost it. Therefore, the delay in this call was caused by a search for a phone booth.
Well, that's the gist of it. I guess you could put it that way and leave it at that.
Do you have any further questions, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor, the witness's testimony does not make sense. I don't believe that there was ever a need for the witness to search for a phone. How dare you! You can't just make outrageous claims like that. You do have some sort of proof, don't you? Well, yeah, of course.
This evidence should be good enough, I think. Alright, let's have this proof then. Please present proof that the witness had no need to search for the public phone booth.
It was this one. It's quite simple, actually. Please take a look at this.
At the crime scene photo?
Is there a problem with it? Oh, there's nothing wrong with the picture. But if you don't understand my logic after looking at it, something is wrong with you.
It's a phone booth.
I know, they look so strange to me. That is correct. All the defendant had to do was walk 3 steps. But he would have had to walk over a dead body! Ew! Mr. Wellington, why did you not use the phone that was right in front of you? Actually, this is a pretty good idea. You know, given that the cell phone, or the phone booth, is close to the scene of the crime, he would have to walk all over it. Meaning he could result in disturbing the crime scene, which would legally possibly get him into trouble. I think. In some situations, I guess it would be okay if it was for the fact of calling an ambulance or the police in such a case. I think, I'm not sure.
Order! Order!
What does reporting the crime a little late prove for you? The witness can't explain what he was doing for those 15 minutes. That is reason enough to throw suspicion on his testimony.
Yes, this is very true. What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Then I bet this phone really is his, Nick. He must have killed Dustin to get his phone back. But Maggie said she was going to return it to him. So there was no reason for him to kill for it. And on top of that, we still had the cell phone she found here. But if he wasn't looking for the cell phone, was he looking for something else? Was he?
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
Do you have any thoughts you would like to share with the court? Can you offer an explanation as to what the witness was doing during those 15 minutes?
There is only one possible explanation.
Alright, let's hear your explanation. However, be forewarned that if your explanation is not persuasive, you will be penalized. Think carefully before you present, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor. I probably shouldn't have said there was only one possibility. As I said before, in this and the next game, and I think in the 4th game also, they chose to have a life bar instead of just 5 strikes. Mr. Wellington. What? Don't do that. You almost made me have a heart attack. These are your glasses, aren't they? Where did you... I believe the court all here heard what you just confessed to. That these glasses are in fact yours. Not really. He said, where did you find them? Not that... Oh my god, those are my glasses. These glasses were found under the victim's body. Under the victim's body?
Order! Order!
Oh, wait a second, hold on. I didn't confess a crime anything. Your Honor, I think the answer is quite clear here. As he fell, Dustin Prince grabbed the culprit's glasses. The culprit knew that he had to find his glasses and searched frantically for them. What he didn't realize was that they were under the victim's body. Maybe because he realized that the glasses shouldn't be underneath the body if he pushed them that way or the other way. And that is why it took him 50 minutes to make that call.
Mr. Wright, are you indicting the witness as the real murderer?
Of course, that is precisely what I'm doing. I'll be quite honest, yes, I started with this game, and I really loved the cornered seam in this game. It sounds so cool. He's the real murderer. Did you figure it out, Nick? More or less. Turns out this cell phone was the key to this case after all. Anyway, now is our chance to Deep Six this guy. I'll sink him in one shot. Yeah! This is so exciting watching you work again. Somehow, my old self is coming back to me. It's time to sink or swim. Everything rests on the edge of a knife. This is the moment I've been waiting for.
Order! Order!
Your Honor, the defense is making a mockery of this court. Without any solid ground to stand on, he accuses the witness of being the murderer. He does it in practically every case, so don't act like it's a big thing. Yeah, that's right. I'm no criminal. This third-rate fraud of a lawyer. In that case, why don't we look at it from a different perspective? Let's hear your explanation as why you are not the murderer. That's a stupid idea. What? That's easy. For example, there's the name the victim wrote. What about that? Oh, you mean the name Maggie? Yeah, even an idiot like you can read that, right? But we already know this was not written by the victim himself. After all, the defendant's name is Maggie, and the victim was left-handed.
So basically, you're saying that in order to make the defendant look guilty, the real criminal used the victim's right hand to write her name on the ground?
No way! You think that was the case? But wouldn't that mean that the real criminal was someone the defendant knew? Otherwise, how else would the person know her name was Maggie or Maggie?
That is a good point. The witness didn't even know of Miss Bird before this trial.
Oh, forgot. Was there any way this creep could have known Maggie's name beforehand? It would be best if I could prove that the witness had a chance to learn that the defendant's name was Maggie.
Now, will the defense please present its case? How could the witness have known the defendant's name?
Mr. Wellington, you didn't have your cell phone with you on the day of the murder, correct? So what if I didn't? When you realized you had lost it, what did you do? What did I do? Didn't you try to find it by calling it? Why, you... How did you... Your Honor, these questions have nothing to do with...
Overruled. Mr. Wright, where are you going with this line of questioning? Do you think there is some relation between this witness's cell phone and the murder?
I do, Your Honor. On the day of the murder, Maggie Bird picked up a lost phone in the park.
And she also received a phone call from the owner of the phone.
Hello?
Oh, thank you. I've been searching for my phone.
Is this yours? I'm glad you called. We can meet up and I can give this back.
I'll be right there. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
You can call me Maggie.
That was when you learned that her name was Maggie. But you made one fatal mistake.
Fatal mistake?
My client's name is Maggie, but the name that was written on the ground was Maggie. This is a mistake that could only occur if all you knew was how her name sounded.
Order! Order!
As you can see, the peanut gallery is a bit overzealous now.
And your point is?
It's very simple, Your Honor. A person usually would not kill someone without a reason.
Actually, sometimes people do kill people for no reason.
Mr. Wellington had no reason to kill anyone.
That is absolutely correct. I didn't have a motive.
Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
Can you explain what motive this witness could have had?
It's very simple, Your Honor.
Are you sure, Nick?
If I said I can't offer an explanation, then the trial's over, right? Basically, I'm doing that thing that I always do. I just talk and talk with no real plan, and then it suddenly comes to me.
Yeah, but...
Now then, please present to this court proof that the witness had a motive.
I think it was this. Mr. Wellington's motive is right here.
What is this? A list?
These phone numbers were pulled from the memory of the phone that the defendant found. And we had determined that the people on this list are members of a certain group.
You looked up all those numbers?
Of course. This list of phone numbers was stored in the cell phone's memory. The names and numbers belong to people who are members of a certain con artists group.
What? Con artists?
Can you explain why these numbers were on your phone, Mr. Wellington?
This is an outrage and invasion of privacy.
Looking up the phone numbers on a person's phone is a worse crime than murder. You're one of those people, just like the cops who read the brilliant artists. Wasn't that the guy who committed suicide? Or was that the guy who drew somebody's suicide? Whatever. All I want is for you to tell us what this list is about.
Do you think any of you can know what it's like to be a refined man like me? Your Honor, this is unjust badgering of the witness.
Objection overruled. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? Why would the witness have the numbers of a group of con artists on his phone?
Well, isn't that obvious? Well, two of those are kinda stupid. Mr. Wellington is a member of this very group.
No!
All of your friends' phone numbers are stored right here on the phone. If anyone were to look into those phone numbers, it would be all over for you. Technically, since he says he got his phone, wouldn't that mean that it would be the phone he has in his hands and not the one in your inventory? Just saying. Up to now, we don't know if it is really his phone. That is why you had to kill.
No, this is too much.
That does make quite a bit of sense. Well, Mr. Wellington, would you care to explain?
I
Got you now.
a police officer. Your Honor,
What is it, Mr. Payne?
Your Honor, this is unjust badgering of the witness.
You said the exact same thing only a few seconds ago.
But please, let's think about the content of that phone call.
I'm not going to voice this again. But yes, she says that she's going to give it back. The defendant had already promised that she would return the phone. After that, all that Mr. Wellington had to do was meet Miss Bird to get his phone back. Why then would he need to kill anyone?
That is a valid point. What does the defense think about this point?
If you think about it logically, then it does make sense. Then maybe we should be thinking outside the box. Yeah, if we think like that. Let's see. Maybe that slimeball saw something at the crime scene that made him commit murder.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright?
Well, I don't think Mr. Wellington went to pick up his phone in a very friendly manner. But he was promised his phone, so why would he have been unfriendly to the defendant? I think he must have seen something that didn't agree with him when he got there.
Well then, Mr. Wright, what was the something that didn't agree with the witness?
What Mr. Wellington saw was the victim. The victim? You mean Dustin Prince? Dustin Prince had gone on his date right after his shift was over. With no time to change, he went to the park still wearing the police uniform.
Oh!
That girl that picked up my phone is with a policeman! He couldn't have known they were going out, so he began to worry. He was afraid the policeman would ask a few questions before returning the phone. If I do anything suspicious, he might run a check on my phone. Yes, because pushing him to his potential death is not suspicious. In his mind, it was possible they had already run a check on the phone.
And he went into a panic, is what you're saying?
Exactly. Officer Prince was murdered simply because he was in uniform.
Mr. Payne, do you have any comments?
I'm thinking.
It seems the truth has come out at last. The witness, Mr. Wellington, you are...
I've seen quite a lot of people using that animation for this Scrapman song. What's that supposed to mean? The evidence! That guy's really creeping me out. Oh, you've been waving around talking about that suspicious cell phone. Suspicious phone numbers, this suspicious con group, that. They're all on that phone. Who's to say that phone's mine? Where's your proof? Your evidence? You want proof that this phone is yours? I already told you earlier. That phone I lost, I've already found it. You don't have even the slightest idea who the phone in your hand belongs to. You can be sure it isn't mine, you simpleton. What? It feels good to see you squirm.
We do seem to have a problem on our hands with this cell phone. Whose phone is it? Without knowing that, it's meaningless as evidence.
Your Honor, this is bad. I can't let him turn the tables on me like this. Cell phone. There has to be something I've overlooked. There's got to be. Maybe... I got it! We should check for fingerprints!
Fingerprints?
Oh, come on, Judge. Just in the last case you knew about them. Then again, that case was like 8 months ago or something. Yeah, 8-9 December, yeah. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wellington must have left some prints on this phone. Nick, don't you remember? When you got that phone from Maggie, you wiped it off! Oh god, what a retard. Then again, knowing him, he probably touched it all over with bare hands and got his own fingerprints on it. What? You said there was sand all over it. Wiped it? I wiped it? Pretty thoroughly, too. It's always so much fun watching third-rate trash babble like morons among themselves. Oh god, he's made a complete recovery. How many times do I have to say this? My phone is right here, you see? Oh, and incidentally, you can't check the number stored on this phone. It must have glitched because all the numbers just magically disappeared. You've got to be joking. He erased all the numbers I was going to use as evidence. Mr. Wellington? What's this? From the way you talk to me, it sounds like you still have some fight left in you. Where did you finally find your cell phone? Oh, you are too much! And of course you have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh my... Now I remember! So that's one. What's wrong, Mr. Attorney? Why the harsh glare in your eyes? Nick, we've worked so hard to get this far, but if you don't do something quick, it's gonna get us scot-free. I know this phone has to be his. How am I supposed to prove something like that?
Mr. Wright, if you cannot prove who the owner of that cell phone is, your indictment has no basis and therefore no power. It looks like you came up a penny short.
Where did I go wrong? Letting your guard down on the couch? Don't blame yourself. You're merely a third-rate lawyer. You only made one big mistake. Who are you? What are you? That's something you haven't figured out for yourself yet. Who I am?
The court hereby concludes the cross-examination.
If that will be all, I'll have to bid you gentlemen and ladies goodbye. I have a reservation at that ultra-fancy restaurant on the upper side of town. Thank you for your assistance. You've had a stressful day, so please, bon appetit! What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to just let it go at that? Please wait, Your Honor. All right, Nick. I think I may be able to prove it.
Prove it? Prove what, Mr. Wright?
Everything. Your Honor, the cross-examination has already ended. If he questions the witness with any more of his badgering...
You will not harass the witness, is that clear, Mr. Wright?
Did you hear that? No harassment allowed, Mr. Attorney. Please, Your Honor.
All right. I will allow you to harass the... Yes, go ahead and harass the witness. You may present one piece of evidence to the court.
I only get one shot at this.
If you cannot prove everything, it's over. For your client and for you. Do you fully understand?
Yeah. I'm sure you are well aware, Your Honor, but the cross-examination period has ended.
Were you paying attention, Mr. Payne? I said that Mr. Wright could present only one more piece of evidence.
Oh.
Now then, Mr. Wright, this is your last chance.
It all comes down to this. It's go time!
Please present the one piece of evidence that will explain everything. Why, thank you. How nice. Here, please, have one of mine.
Cute.
Wait, what am I doing? This isn't a time to be exchanging business cards.
Your Honor, there is something very important about that card, and that is... This card is important because of what is on the back. Huh? You wrote your cell phone number on the back, but... But that's exactly it. Can you please call this number from your cell phone? Huh? Right now? The court is still in session. It's okay. You'll see. Okay, if you say so. Your Honor, am I allowed to have my cell phone on? Hey, technically she would have to ask. We are going to call my cell phone now. And then the court will see everything for what it is. Of all the idiotic, stupid things. Ah! Why is my phone... What is this stupid sounding ringtone? Mr. Wellington. How strange. I could almost swear that you're holding my phone. You're... No, it can't. By the way, before I forget, thank you very much for that lump on my head this morning. I don't think I need to explain any further except to say... When you went to retrieve your cell phone, you mistakenly took the wrong one. Autoerotic asphyxiation is very dangerous, people. Be aware.
So that is what happened. You were knocked out by Mr. Wellington.
He is a man who lives on his pride and self-image alone. And in order to hide his involvement with the con artist group, he has become paranoid and had lost all ability to make rational judgments. Then, Mr. Wright, the cell phone you're holding. It's Mr. Wellington's, naturally. Who's calling?
Speaking of that man, how is he, Mr. Payne?
He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor.
Very well. Now then, this court finds the defendant Maggie Bird. That is all. This court is adjourned.
I knew that the real you would shine through eventually. I'm so moved by what you've done for me, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I feel really bad for Dustin. He didn't do anything to deserve this. It's probably because of me.
Huh?
My whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Your whole life? Couldn't have been that bad, could it? Since I was 6 months old when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building, I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed at almost every test I've ever taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and never won or even tied a game of tic-tac-toe. My life has really been nothing but a string of disasters.
That's pretty bad.
Up until I went to college, I was known as a goddess of misfortune. And then at the academy, everyone called me Lady Luckless. Lady Luckless? What's worse is that my misfortune always seems to latch onto those around me. What do you mean? When I see someone in trouble, I always try to help.
Ah, that's right, you were talking about this earlier.
Happened again recently too, sir. There was an old lady pacing back and forth by the pedestrian crosswalk. Gave her my hand and... before I knew it, we were having dinner at my house.
Well, you certainly move fast.
I'm sure that Dustin's gone because of me. That's not true! That glove didn't even have any sort of special meaning. It was just a present to say thanks for covering one of my night shifts.
And just for that you had to make it custom made. You couldn't have just got him a simple left-handed glove.
Everything is all my fault. Dustin's death, your head being all messed up.
Well, I don't think my head is that messed up yet.
I'm going to find a new life for myself starting now. The next time we meet, I'm sure I'll have found a whole ocean's worth of good luck by then, sir.
Yeah, after all, the goddess of misfortune is only a name.
You bet. I'm gonna make it. I promise. Next time we meet, I'll only be an unlucky person instead of a goddess.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Well, Mr. Wright, Maya, I should get going. Okay. Good luck to you. Thanks. You take care of yourselves too.
what a horrible day. I've gotten my memory back, but things are still a little fuzzy.
But you're okay, and that's what counts. You really had me worried. Come on, let's go back to the office.
I'm afraid to ask, but here goes. So this might sound bad, but who are you?
What? I thought you said you got your memory back.
At that moment, everything really did come back to me. Detective Gumshoe. He's someone I've had clashes with in the past during certain cases, but he's always been a good ally during others. The judge. He's a lovable, kind old man who is easily swayed by other people's opinions. What the hell is this guy doing being a judge then? But in the end, he always comes up with the right verdict. And this person, I haven't got a clue. He seems to know me, but maybe he's mistaking me for someone else? And this girl, Maya?
You finally remembered!
This is Maya Fey, my assistant. That's right. I have so many unforgettable memories about her. For example...
Earth to Nick! What's wrong? You keep staring at me.
What? Don't you mean starting? What? Well, I suppose I have. I feel like I haven't seen you in ages.
Oh? Well, I'm back now, so it's time for us to create new memories together.
Alright, sounds good. All the phone numbers on my phone were erased by Mr. Wellington. I can tell you, 5 of those were Edgeworths, and they all were under various names. I guess I have to start over from the very beginning.
Come on, Nick! Let's go to our usual burger joint!
Okay. Actually, it hasn't even been 2 months since she came back into my life. And that story began on one rainy afternoon 2 months ago. That was the introduction case. Next case is a pretty decent case. I think it's sort of silly, but it was a good real case when I first played it, so whatever. I'll see you next time.